Agency in Motion continuing education series. This series was designed specifically to help agents, advisors, producers, and agency builders in the financial services industry. And today's topic conversation episode really centers around marketing versus networking in building your financial services business. They are both really, really important. They can work independently of each other, or they can be combined in certain situations. So understand what they are, what the differences are, and how each will help your business going forward. Marketing and networking can create leads. And remember, leads are the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have leads, you don't have a business. So you need to understand where your leads come from, and you need to understand the importance of having multiple legs of lead generation. If you ever look at a show like Shark Tank, somebody comes on, they have a real successful business, and the only thing they do for marketing is invest in Facebook leads. Most everybody's out. That's one-legged stool, guys. Just like we teach our clients, you can't retire on a one-legged stool. Can't run lead generation on a one-legged stool. So understand your leads are going to come from multiple different places. And if you perfect your approach in those different areas, lead generation is going to be very, very easy for you. So marketing obviously is the idea and the concept and the strategy of direct communication for a specific purpose. Networking is a little bit different. Networking is, in my business, I like to network more than I like to market. I like to talk to people about their businesses, see what they do, how long they've been doing it, what they like or not like. I've told you guys before, networking, if you're not very good or you don't understand how to network, look at it as a blind date. If you go on a blind date, all you got to do is ask some questions, let the other side talk. It's exactly what you want to happen in networking, because as they talk, they're going to give you information. And when we look at that, increasing the flow of your pipeline and mastering that, if they're going to give you information, inside that information is going to uncover something like a problem. Then you have a solution and an action step for it. So understand networking is very easy. It's non-threatening. It gives you a position of power because all you're doing to build interest in what you have to offer, just show interest in other people. So understand the differences, how each can help you build your business. Marketing in financial services industry involves strategies and tactics used to attract, engage, and convert potential clients into customers. It's about promoting your services and establishing your brand in a very competitive market. Remember, we've talked about insurance. We talked about financial services. It's a very large industry. It's a very competitive industry. So you have to find ways to separate yourself from the crowd and get yourself into a position where you're different from everybody else. Because if you stand within that crowd, you've got to compete. Competing is very hard in an industry like this. It's all about just really the process of attracting, converting, closing, and delighting your prospects into clients. So once you understand that you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes a process. And then that process becomes easier because you are just sorting people. This person I can't help. This person might be a referral partner. This person might be a business partner. I can't help this person at all. So it's just sorting the people. And then once you sort them, then your conversation gets a little bit more direct according to what bucket you put those people in. When you look at an effective marketing strategy, you've got to make sure that when you're online and advertising, building your brand, doing the research, creating the strategy, that the key components are there. If there's key components missing to your marketing strategy, it's going to fall flat. And if you fall flat on your marketing, you're going to get discouraged. And discouragement obviously leads to drifting. That leads to not being very confident about what's going on here. You need to identify your target market and niches. So remember, this is very, very, very important. If you're going to try to go out there and what we call be a chameleon and be everything to everyone, have all these different types of conversations with these different types of people, it's going to be extremely exhausting. It's going to be a lot of hard work. You're probably not going to get a lot of end result from that. So you need to understand that when you're building your brand loyalty, that, when you're separating yourself, you have less competition. When you're in your niche, it's more cost effective if you're out there online advertising with money behind it. Increased expertise, targeted audience, faster growth. Once again, if I know who I'm going after and I know that person very well, the conversations are easy. Begins just the sorting process of, can I help this person? Does this person want to be helped? Are they able and willing to be helped? Your target, your quality audience comes from targeting specific types of people. And like we said, if you get into the habit of just owning your niche, really dominating your niche, this becomes very, very easy, because when you define your target audience, all you're doing is asking yourself and then really perfecting who is your ideal client. If you're asking yourself right now, you don't know who your ideal client is, that's going to be problematic, because you have to include like demographics. What is the age? What is the income? Where are these people at? Psychographics. What are their attitudes and behaviors? And then finally, how do you fit in? What are their financial needs? Retirement planning, wealth accumulation, debt management. So once again, your target audience needs to come down to your ideal client, and your ideal client needs to be picture perfect in your mind of, what is it? What is the list of my ideal client? Because once you identify who your ideal client is, it's a lot easier to go out and try to find them. If you don't know who you're looking for, how are you going to find them, right? So your ideal client needs to be, picture perfect. It needs to be all just set with bullet points of exactly who you're looking for and why. Your niche is extremely important. Specializing or finding a niche within the broad financial services field is extremely important. This could be specializing in a specific type of insurance, a specific type of investment strategy, retirement planning, debt management, as we lead with. Whatever you're doing and whatever you're looking for, you have to understand your niche. You have to identify and define your ideal client, because then you can start looking, where are these people? What is the message I'm going to get out to them? It's going to have them resonating, raising their hand, say, yes, I want to talk to you about this. Yes, you're the person I want to speak to about this. And then you've got to create a unique value proposition. We talk about this all the time before. So how do you build your unique value proposition? Remember, when you're leading, whether it's network or marketing, you have to lead with something. What are you trying to do? What's the next action step? We're obsessed with next action steps. You need to go into each conversation, whether that's text, verbal, online messages, whatever it is, and you need to understand what is the next action step. And when you're leading with unique value propositions, it becomes a lot easier for the other side to take that next action step. So how do you determine your brand's unique value proposition? We've talked a little bit about this before, but it's a combination of, really, what does your customer want? Your ideal client, what do they want? What does your brand do really well? And then outside of that, what does your competitor do really well? And then your brand's UVP is going to be right in there. You have to identify what you do best and lead with that. Is it outstanding customer service? Is it your culture, your philosophy, your capabilities, the people that surround you, the industry that you're in? Remember, you have to understand your business at a level where you are looking kind of like an aerial point of view, understanding the different pieces, how they interact with each other, and how to build that business and segment what's going right, what's going wrong, and then fix the things that are going wrong. You need to be clear and concise with your marketing materials. If what you're advertising is confusing to the other side, they're not going to take the next action step. And once again, if you're giving somebody 18 directions, they're not going to take any of them. You want somebody to go open the front door, ask them, can you go open the front door? So when you are communicating and you are getting your unique value proposition in the marketplace, understand you have to be clear and concise in your message of what you're offering and what you're asking them to do in order to receive that. Your marketing channels. Remember, you got public relations, you got digital advertising, you got offline promos, paid search, email marketing, social media. Understand all of your marketing channels. I'm not saying that you have to do every marketing channel, but once again, you can't get stuck on one thing. You have to have a portfolio of marketing channels that are doing different things, but in the same way towards the same types of people. Understand what each one of these are. Understand, how it could aid your business. And if so, go after it. And if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, please let us know. We've got detailed additional training about all types of marketing channels. And you really want to understand the various marketing channels in the financial services industry, because when you look at this, you have digital marketing. That's websites, that's social media, that's email marketing, that's pay-per-click if you're paying for that, search engine optimization. You as a digital entrepreneur, as somebody in financial services, ushering in a 21st century model, backed by education and technology, you have to have a digital presence. One of the things you can do today is Google yourself. What comes up? If little to nothing comes up, you need to start building your brand online so that when people do look you up, you have some type of trust, rapport, credibility through that search. That's going to help them feel more comfortable talking to you and doing business with you. And then content marketing. Remember, this goes back to the unique value proposition. If you're creating and sharing valuable content through your blogs, videos, podcasts, webinars, whatever it is that you're doing, and if you look at this stuff right now and you say, I'm not doing any of this, it's okay. Just understand that you want to try to, as we go forward, add additional things to your marketing. Content marketing is a great way, once again, to get out there, build your brand, be recognized, establish that trust, rapport, credibility. One of the things that's great with content marketing, if you can get really good at creating and sharing valuable stuff, your audience will want to hear from you. And then once they want to hear from you, you can pepper that in with, selling, recruiting, pitching, whatever it is that you want to do. But most of the time, about 80% of the time, you got to be entertaining, you got to be educating, you got to be out there with something that somebody really wants to see from you, because if it's all selling, pitching, recruiting, your audience is going to get tired of you and it's going to fall on deaf ears. And then traditional marketing. Remember, just because we're an online business doesn't mean that you're just, leaving traditional marketing behind. Traditional marketing definitely has value for you. So this is brochures, flyers, direct mail, print advertising, referrals from existing clients. Remember, referrals, if you're not asking for them, you're never going to get them. If you're asking for them in the right way, which means, hey, once the value has been received and recognized from the other side, who else do you know and care about that needs access to this information? So don't turn your back on traditional marketing just because you're an online business. When you are out there marketing, when you're out there, building your brand online, you need to make sure that you understand and adhere to compliance and regulations. You don't want to do anything online that's going to jeopardize your future in the industry, jeopardize your future being able to build a business in this industry. So understand compliance and regulations. Don't do anything that's going to get you in trouble. And then always, I know you guys hate this, but you got to measure. There's got to be analytics. You got to understand, even on organic stuff, what's happening there. How many eyes are seeing it? How many people are taking those next action steps? What's my engagement on some of this stuff online? If you're looking at the stuff and it's not doing well, that's okay. We learn from our strengths and our weaknesses. Don't just throw your hands up. Get confident in your ability to learn this stuff. And then once you learn how measurement analytics will aid your business, you can make data-driven decisions over so many other people in this industry, which make emotional ones day after day after day. And the types of networking. So the different types of networking opportunities for you in an industry like this come from, different ways. Online networking, obviously, like we talked about earlier, networking is just simply talking to people. If you're at a cocktail party, hey, what do you do? That's great. Like I said, how long you've been doing it? What do you like? You need to have that list of questions in your head. Don't rattle them off like a robot, but inside networking, as you're talking to people online, understand who you are, what you represent, and who you want to surround yourself with. Then offline networking. So just like we're not going to just 100% ignore traditional marketing, you're not going to ignore offline networking. If you're out and about, if you're going to social events, if you're going to, networking events, all of this stuff allows you to do exactly what we've been talking about, which is open conversations, ask questions, get information, and then let that information, take the conversation into a next action step, or have that conversation taken to a disqualification for, one or more various reasons. It's all about relationships, guys. And once you understand, this is not about financial services, financial products. It's all about building and nurturing professional relationships. And once you understand that you're in the contact business and you're in the relationship business, it should be a little bit easier to get clarity on how to go forward. People are going to buy into you before they ever buy into anything you have on the back end as far as products and services. So who are you? What do you represent? What are your values? How do you look online? Somebody looks you up. What do they find? All of those things. And remember, relationship, relationship, relationship. Do you sell or do you serve? And then the importance of authenticity. People are going to sniff you out if you're fake online. If you're trying to represent yourself as something that you're not, people are going to see right through that. If you're not authentic and if you're fake online, nobody's going to want to network with you. No one's going to want to take anything, no matter how great it is that you have as far as unique value propositions. No one's going to care if you're fake. So be authentic, share yourself, live your life, and then the right people will be surrounded by you. Benefits of networking, it increases your visibility. Once again, and you grow your network, you grow your contracts, right? So you need to increase your visibility. Networking also helps you build a professional support system. It's not always about just selling somebody something or bringing a partner in. Sometimes it's about learning from other people. Professional support system is extremely important. We all need mentorship, whether you are starting, whether you're trying to gain traction, building, growing, or scaling your business. We all need mentorship at some point. Networking allows us to find those mentors that can really help us. And then once again, you get constructive feedback from your peers. If you can't take constructive criticism, if you're going to get all hurt by that, you're not going to really have much of a chance as an entrepreneur, because most entrepreneurs, we value constructive feedback because we know it can help us get better. We have access to more information. We can fine tune our social skills. Just like any other skill set, the stuff that we're talking about today takes time, energy, resources. You get better and better and better at it if you continue to work at it. So the synergy of marketing and networking, how does it all come together? Because they're different, but they can also, complement each other, and they can also feed off of each other as well. The advantages of combining marketing and networking is really helping you understand what all this comes together, because the brand visibility, that increased visibility and brand awareness, if people are constantly seeing who you are, what you represent, what you're all about, brand visibility is extremely important. And all of this noise out here, you've got to be seen, you've got to be heard. You got to have a brand, you got to live your brand, you got to understand what your brand is all about. And then also the diversification of lead sources. Once again, if you're killing it in your business, but you've only got one lead source and you're not really in control of that lead source, how much are you in control of your actual business? So what this offers you, marketing and networking, is just a diversification of lead sources. You got multiple legs on the lead source stool now. So if something happens to one or two of them, your whole business doesn't cater. So this is extremely important. Leads come from many, many, many different sources. Marketing and networking are two examples. And then when you look at the marketing and the networking aspects of what you do, you can start to understand and start to visualize how this stuff creates leads for you. And then enhance credibility and trust. Remember, at that bottom of the pyramid, you need rapport, trust, and credibility. If you don't have that, no one's going to want to talk to you and give you information that uncovers a problem that you can step in with a solution and action step for. If there's no credibility, there's no trust, there's no rapport, there's probably no conversation. So understand how both of these can enhance that credibility and trust, both in online and offline business. And then building a strong professional network for referrals. Once again, if you've got a strong client base that you've done great things for, and they're extremely excited about what you've done for them, you're getting no referrals out of that, that's all on you 100%. You've got to be able to extract referrals from your existing client base and also build a strong professional network that will refer you business. At some point in the conversation, if they're not going to really be a client, they're not going to be a partner, they're not going to be a mentor, bring up the referral opportunity. Can you send business over there? Will they send business over here? How is that going to work out? What's the communication going to look like? Referrals are extremely important for your business. The cost of acquisition of a referral, in a lot of cases is nothing, just a little bit of time making that call. Hey, I helped Joe. He asked me to call you. Oh yeah, I was expecting your call. And then in closing remarks today, guys, you just have to really remember that your 3 activities to grow your business every single day is build, engage, sell. That doesn't mean we're selling to the same people every single day. We are building our audience constantly. We are engaging our audience constantly. Then at the right point, we're peppering in an opportunity for our audience to get a look at what we could do for them on the products and services side. But you have to build, engage constantly at the right point for the right people to sell them. You have to front load your business. Once again, think of your business on the front end as a freeway. There's little to no cars on your freeway. not much is going to be happening. You need to front load your business. You need to get that freeway just packed with cars, incoming website traffic, online traffic, offline traffic. You need to front load your business, because if you have enough leads coming in, once again, you're just sorting them, can help them, can't help them, want to be helped, don't want to be helped, able to be helped, not able to be helped. That's all you're doing. You're in a persona. You've got unique value propositions on the front side. You're front loading your business. Then you've just got different people in different cycles of communication. You're sorting them. That pipeline gets real huge. You have trickles of business coming in. Gets bigger and bigger and bigger with time. You've got to build solid relationships for lasting success. Remember, this is a contact business. This is a relationship building business. You're not going to just, open up a conversation and immediately sell somebody. You have to build strong relationships. And once again, in the networking aspect, that just means showing interest in what they do, who they are. That will build interest in what you do. And then be defined in your approach. Like I said, if you're just going out there, like we've said this so many times, random conversations with random people, getting random outcomes, you're going to be exhausted by the end of the day, week, month, and your results are not going to be as good as someone who's really locked into a persona, defined in their approach, and knows exactly what they're doing at any given moment of the day. The alignment and engagement of that persona is extremely important. Once you align with a persona, once you have your ideal client, you go out and find them, and then you have the engagement, right? You're building that audience, you're engaging that audience, and at the right point, you're selling that audience. But if everybody in your audience is the same type of person, it becomes very easy to engage. If you got a network of just all these different types of people, engagement becomes, almost like an additional part-time job for your business. And then be systematic. Everything that you do, you should be able to explain to somebody else in a clear, concise, articulate way. You got a partner coming in, they ask you what you do for marketing and networking. You don't know, or you can't explain it very simply, like on an elementary school level, then there's something wrong with it. You have to be systematic, because if what you do can't be done by others, that's a big problem for your business. And then the tools of the trade. You have LinkedIn, you have Facebook, you have all these social media sites, you have automation. You should be taking advantage of all these tools of the trade, because if you're not, the other people that will and are willing to do that are going to beat you in this industry. And then finally, guys, growth and comfort do not exist. You can't be afraid of going out there and talking to people. You can't be afraid of going out there and upgrading your network to people who may intimidate you a little bit. That is a great way, because if you upgrade your network, what you're going to find is your business starts to upgrade as well. Agency in motion, building, operating, and managing agencies in the 21st century.